In this short Voices of the Campaign Trail, I will share what a conversation I had with a resident in Angelino Heights. And it was a great conversation. And again, I'm always excited to talk to anyone in California 34, or really anywhere, about their vision for government and society and how we all make a country that works for each and every one of us. And this resident definitely let me know a lot of their feelings across a lot of subjects. And I want to share that. So, one of the big takeaways for sure is that a lot of people who are lifelong Democrats have in recent years not been voting for the Democrats because they like the Democratic Party message, but oppositionally, simply because they are voting against what the Republican Party has to offer. And this can go back. Some people are saying like the last time they voted for a Democrat for the vision that they believed in was in 2008 when Obama ran the first time. But this current breed of Democrat here in 2024 just doesn't have a vision, doesn't explain what they want to do. They're obviously currently now just waiting for Trump and Republicans to implode and hope to sweep back into power without actually offering a vision. And people are seeing through that and they're upset. They are upset. What this resident also shared with me, though, is like why they've always voted oppositionally and not necessarily for someone else, twofold. One is they don't feel they've ever had an independent candidate they could vote for. So I hope to be that independent candidate who shares my vision and my governing philosophy and what I believe our government should do and provide, and what we as citizens should do to make sure that that happens and works for all of us. So when there is an independent on the ballot, there's someone to vote for. The second part of that is that they don't want to have a spoiler, right? They don't want to split a vote between a Democrat and an imaginary independent, and that split vote ends up with a Republican. That is not an issue here in California 34 because of the way the primaries work, are nonpartisan primaries where anyone and everyone can get on the ballot, as it should be. So it's going to be between me and a Democrat for sure. I'm not spoiling anybody because you're either going to send a Democrat or you're going to send me. And I hope you send me because I am going to work to represent every single one of us, including the ideas of this resident I was speaking to. So beyond, again, just being upset, being done with the Democrats, not having actually affirmatively voted for a Democrat in years, but just oppositionally to Republicans and open to an independent run and an independent candidate and actually voting for an independent. That's the real key. The resident went on to describe what is really important to them, which is that they do believe that government can be less onerous in the safety and regulatory state, meaning that they want clean water and they want clean air, but they also want to make sure that government is working with business so that the least amount of regulation and the least cost to achieve the goals of clean water and clean air, drugs that don't kill you, etc., is met, right? So yes to a regulatory state, but how do we make sure the regulatory state, say like in the city of Los Angeles at the local level, doesn't completely stop housing from being built, right? Our government is now oppositional to our goals, and this resident thinks that's insane, and I agree with this resident. Um, they also really think the government should be spending more money on education and healthcare. Um, and I couldn't agree more. In fact, I believe that there are five rights, of which three of them are the government should make sure that we have enough money, each of us, to pay for our own home, to pay for our own food, and to pay for our own clothing. But there's two things that the government should absolutely be providing, and that is, as this resident points out, healthcare and education. Again, we can tax ourselves to make this happen, and taxing ourselves for healthcare will actually save us money because we won't be spending it on premiums and deductibles, and we'll actually have coverage. Oh my gosh, we can do this, and it'll be trillions of dollars cheaper over a decade. You'll be wealthier and healthier. The resident also has a good point that spending nearly $1 trillion on defense doesn't feel like we get any value from that. And I happen to agree. I don't think our $1 trillion defense budget or the way our empire operates is really effective for the most of us. It does not make a government that works for all of us. So where in that $1 trillion can we cut? Is it 25%? Is it 30% and be just as safe? Defend our shores just as much? It's a conversation worth having. It is a conversation I am excited to have. And um, the resident also believes it is time to get rid of the Electoral College. And I am 100% in agreement. Not just get rid of the Electoral College, but also we should triple the size of the House to 1,300 members, and make sure that we, the people, get more connected to our representatives, and that we, the people, make our participatory representative democracy more participatory and representative by having the people closer to those who they vote for. So again, tripling the size of the House and also direct election of the president and unsuppress the vote. Every vote for president should count the same in every single state. Um, and this resident was also concerned with specific things in Los Angeles, specifically also around governance again. And they fully support tripling the size of the LA City Council to 45 members, from the current 15, and putting individual 3 to 4 neighborhoods in a complete council district and reimagining what a neighborhood council is. So it was really awesome to hear from this resident, because again, they're thinking federally, they're thinking locally. And the final thing that they want to leave me with is getting money out of politics. And this is one I admit I'm torn on. I don't think Citizens United is right. I don't think money is speech, but we should have a system that is as open and competitive as possible. So it should be easy for anybody to run. And that probably means things like open primaries everywhere and nonpartisan primaries everywhere. And it could mean things like ranked choice voting or other forms of getting to your chosen representative. But within those changes could also be like, maybe corporations can't give money because corporations aren't people. And maybe that requires a constitutional amendment to make it clear that corporations aren't people. So, agreed with the overall sentiment about money out of politics. This is one where, to me, it's much more of a, well, let's figure out that the hows and let's implement those hows. So it was really great to talk to this resident. Obviously, I share a lot of what concerns them, but it's not just what concerns them that I share. It's that I have a plan and an approach to government that I believe others do too, that we can elect independence to every level of government, and we can affect this sort of change, right? To create a government that works for all of us, that makes sure that we can pursue our own lives as we see fit. No fear, only love.